Hey guys, Mike Naso here from IPR. Tonight on the Tropical Roundtable, we're going to have our focus on the area of Invest 99L. Could it become a depression or a storm? Could it even become a hurricane down the road? We're going to talk about it. Zach and I will be on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Right now, let's take a look at the tropics. And taking a look out there, 99L is our feature to watch.
And you can see 99L is getting a lot better organized. Earlier this morning, it wasn't that well organized, but it's really been this late morning, early afternoon flare-up that has the Hurricane Center sending out reconnaissance aircraft. And the environment in front of it is unstable, which means that convection may fire more, and we might see some development. Also, Chantal has already been downgraded. It's way off the screen there. We have another low pressure area that probably won't do much out here in the western Atlantic, and then we have a trough coming down into the north central Gulf of Mexico, and that could sit around and develop. So we do have a lot of activity out there. Let's take a look first at our Invest. And you can see this was the satellite this time yesterday, the visible, and notice that it was still very much caught up in the intertropical convergence zone. It was very dry, didn't have much of any convection or any spin to it. Here it is today, and you could definitely see it's moved. First of all, the movement has definitely been, it was here this time yesterday. Now it is up there approaching Barbados, and you could see it's a much better organized, good convective pattern, good curvature, and a pretty decent outflow. And the environment is not overwhelmingly favorable, but it's certainly not unfavorable for development. And so there is a chance that this could become a depression either tonight or tomorrow. And getting a little bit closer in on it, you can see there's no real circulation, and that might be the problem it has getting upgraded today, unless the reconnaissance aircraft finds circulation. Might be right in there. It might be a little bit further to the west, but in general, the system is going to bring some squally weather to the islands, and it's kind of foreboding. You look at Barbados, you think, wow, this thing's going to pass right over, but that doesn't mean that's exactly where the strong winds are going to be, although you are getting a gust recently up towards 60 miles an hour with sustained winds of about 35. That's tropical depression force. So if they find a low-level circulation, I'm pretty sure they're going to find certainly low enough pressure and high enough winds that this would become a tropical depression, the fourth one of the season, but it is unknown whether or not they will find that circulation. Regardless, it's heading into the Caribbean, and I think chances are development are pretty good. You can see the wind shear tendencies are pretty favorable as it enters the Caribbean, and even though that's the graveyard for cyclones, we saw Hurricane Charlie form entering, we saw Hurricane Claudette, Hurricane Ernesto, we saw many storms come into the eastern Caribbean. For God's sakes, Emily came in as a Category 1, strengthened to a Category 4 by the time it got south of Hispaniola, and that was in July. So we could definitely see a storm develop, even though it's in the climatologically unfavorable eastern Caribbean, and as it continues to move off towards the west-northwest, it could actually become a hurricane if it develops. The ship's model, I believe, was taking it upwards of 100 miles an hour, which would be a pretty intense hurricane. You can see the model plots here have been pretty consistent, continuing it further south towards, say, Central America, but we want to keep in mind that the stronger it gets, first of all, if it is named, the center is probably going to be more up towards Barbados. So the models may be initialized too far south. And if it does move, it will probably be stronger if it strengthens and head more towards the northwestern Caribbean Sea. That's probably what we're looking at here. If it stays weaker and doesn't develop much, then it will probably just go on into Central America, even though the GFDL brings it into Belize as a hurricane, and a pretty nasty one at that, about 90 miles an hour. I wouldn't want to be in the eye wall of a 90-mile-an-hour storm, especially if I wasn't near shelter. So climatologically, it should head more towards the west-northwest and then bend north, but there's not a significant amount of steering flow with this storm other than just gradual movement west-northwestward. It's not being steered by an overly powerful ridge, although there is ridging, and it's not being pulled by a trough, so it's kind of just a gradual west-northwest track. But if it gets stronger, it's going to move further to the north, and then we might have to deal with it down the road someplace close to home. Speaking of close to home, look at this in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. This troughing has come down. This reminds me a bit of what we saw back in, say, '02, '03. We'd see a lot of these systems come on down, sit around for a while, and become 50, 60, 70 mile an hour storms and then pull in. I remember Barry in 2001 formed, and it was supposed to go to Louisiana, and then it came back here, and then it went into the Panhandle. I remember Gabrielle in September of '01 came down here and was expected to make a hook back towards land, but instead just kind of moved inland. And many, many storms on Ree came on in, and Hannah in '02, and just too many of those, and this may be another one of them. And if it bubbles enough, we could see some development, but I don't think it'd be anything significant. Waters closer to the coast are very warm, and conditions aren't extremely favorable, but aren't extremely unfavorable. So if it does form, it could become a tropical storm, but that would probably be it. And you can see a better vantage point of that. This is another interesting feature. This is an extratropical low. This one probably won't develop like Chantal up here did, but if it did, they would probably give it a name because it, would be a storm. But right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But this is a classic pattern of just a whole bunch of trophiness falling down into the tropical waters, and that spawned Chantal, and it spawned this extratropical low as it moves out. And now this is going to sit and brew in the Gulf of Mexico. And if it sits for too long, it could play a factor of what happens if our other system comes into the Caribbean, whether or not we'd have a system up here that would be inducing wind shear, or if there'd be a breakdown of any ridging that may exist. But now I'm just complicating things. Let's take baby steps. Further out near Africa, a pretty good wave just came off. Watch this one. It looks very impressive. I'm very impressed with the circulation of it. And then closer to our invest, there's another wave that's been flaring up, and even more behind the wave moving off. In the Eastern Pacific, we have a couple of systems. We have Tropical Storm Eric, and then we have a interesting low pressure convection mixture in here, and that might do something. But what was that? I sound like a Scot there for a second. That might do something odd. I got no Scottish or Irish in me. I don't know what that's from. Anyway, here's the latest on Tropical Storm Eric. 40 miles an hour gusting to 50. It's been moving west at 9 miles an hour, only 1,005 millibars, so it hasn't dropped a lot. It might strengthen a little bit as it moves on off towards the west and remain a tropical storm, so we'll be tracking this one for the next couple of days. But pretty good convective burst. A lot of times what you'll see is a significant burst followed by development, and so this could be strengthening over the next couple of days. And finally, in the Western Pacific, you could see a lot of scattered convection out there, especially south and southeast of the Philippines. But look at this. This is a very, very powerful typhoon. This is Typhoon Usagi. Winds 130 miles an hour. This is coming in like Hugo did back in South Carolina in '89. It's gusting to 160, northwest at 18, a fast-moving northwest storm. It's expected to weaken as it makes landfall. Might only be a Category 2, but don't let that fool you. This is a very impressive typhoon, and as it comes on in, this isn't going to be one that's turning offshore as a Category 1. This is going to be slamming straight into the mainland, and that's why I compared it to Hugo. Also kind of looks a little bit like Hugo, coming in very fast, very strong, very impressive. So if you're in the coast here along the Japanese coastline here, be prepared for Typhoon Usagi. I'm Mike Nace. I'll see you tonight on the Tropical Roundtable, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned to podweather.com.